As you can tell, this is a really big lesson. Here we go.
Video 3. Woo! Alright, so we have f of x equals 6x minus 2, g of x equals x squared plus 3x minus 1. Find each of the following. So, f of x equaling 6x minus 2, just for example, the first written function. This is function form. If I wanted to write it in equation form, I could just change the f of x to y equals 6x minus 2. And usually, if you're in equation form and they kind of want you to solve for a value, if you're solving for y, they'll just come out and say, okay, x equals 2. And then you'll solve for y. You'll take out the x, you'll plug in 2 in parentheses, order of operations, simplify it, or you can type it in the calculator. So 6, take out the x, put in 2, minus 2, so 6 times 2 is 12. 12 minus 2 would be 10. You can also type that into Desmos. Should I show them?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
And to get the parenthesis, it's shift 9 for the open parenthesis, shift 0 to close the parenthesis. And the minus is the dash on the keyboard.
now another way of doing that would be to say x equals 2, okay? And I'm going to hit home real quick. Find where this red line and where this black line cross, and that would be at 10.
I did not think of that.
How cool is that?
That is pretty cool.
So, I love Desmos. I think it's amazing.
So the next value is
By the way,
4.
did we share?
Yeah, we did.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did, because we're sharing Desmos right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, we are. I lied.
Just kidding.
Just
We're
kidding.
new at this. No, I'm just kidding. We're not. Maybe the newest sharing different tabs part.
Yeah.
All right. So the next one is f of negative 4. Same function, f of x. So you already have the 6x minus 2. You can do x equals negative 4, like Miss April said. And you can kind of follow it to where the two lines meet. And that would be at negative 26. And you can do the same thing for the g of x. You can type in the x squared plus 3x minus 1. And to get off of the square part, if you do shift 6 and you put the 2 in for the exponent, you have to hit the right arrow to bring it back down on the keyboard.
3x
Plus 3x minus 1. And in this case, x will be negative 2.
Hit the
And
home key.
home key?
Home over there, the house.
Oh,
How cool is
I
that?
didn't know about the home key. It brings it back to the original. I like that. And then the place that the line meets the parabola when x is negative 2, y is negative 3. So that means,
Your answer is negative 3.
yes, that means g of negative 2 is negative 3. Awesome. And we're going to do the same thing and plug in 3. Kind of scroll upwards. 3, when x is 3, y is 17. So g of 3 is 17. Now we're in the big fat hairy deal.
Yes, we are. This is baby stepping you into composition of functions. So this happens later on in chapter 3.
So it's just like if you have a number and you're taking x out and you're plugging the number in with parentheses. In this case, we're going to take the x out and we're going to plug a minus 2 with the parentheses. So f of x, you have
So
6x minus 2. You're going to take your x out. You're going to plug your a minus 2 in parentheses. Should have put some over it. And then we're going to spread the jelly to the bread. Both pieces of bread. What I mean by that is it's the distributive property. So if you have a number or a sign in front of a parenthesis, you can, I like to call this the jelly, and these are the breads Miss April's cracking up.
I've never heard it called that way. Yes.
So you multiply together. So 6 times a is 6a. 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. And then you have your minus 2. You combine like terms if you can. You can always type this in the calculator, the negative 12 minus 2. I know that's negative 14. Again, because I'm psychic. I'm just kidding. Gonna play the lottery after this. And then for g of x, that's gonna be a little tougher. I'm gonna go ahead and write the function and put parentheses for x right away. Because I like to be in that habit, so I can plug things in for it. That's a good habit to have when you're working with functions.
Yes.
And then we're going to plug in a minus 2 in both places. Will it take the answer like this, Miss April, or do you have to distribute?
I think you do have to distribute.
Okay. I was not sure.
But on a test, I would give you most of the credit. And what you just did is exactly the right step. And something that I would have shown them. Yes.
Writing the square out twice?
Yes.
Well, I mean, 3 squared, right, is 3
Right.
times 3.
Exactly.
So we're just, I call that expanding it, and I think that's what it's called in general.
Yes.
Expanding the square, and then we would FOIL.
Right.
So that is first, outer, inner, last. So first term times first term, a times a is a squared. A times negative 2 is negative 2a. Inside term times inside term, negative 2 times a again, also negative 2a. Last term in the first parenthesis times last term in the last parenthesis, negative 2 times negative 2 because the sign in front of a term goes with it. So that minus is going with that too. And negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. And then we're going to combine our center terms. I like to say 99% of the time. I don't know if that's a real stat on this, but 99% of the time when you FOIL, you can combine the center terms. I feel like I've seen maybe one time ever where you couldn't.
There's a few times.
Okay, so maybe not
90.
It's very rare.
Seldom that you can.
Especially at this level.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah,
right.
It definitely exists more than 99 other places, but I think at this level, that's
right.
the majority of the time, if not all the time. And then I combine my like terms, because negative 2a, we want to talk about that?
You got to distribute this one.
Oh, just kidding. That's only the first part.
Yeah.
And then you have to spread the 3 jelly to these 2 pieces of bread. So 3 times a is 3a. And then 3 times negative 2 is negative 6.
And then minus 1.
And we're going to carry that on down here.
Yes.
Where we've already simplified our a squared minus 4a plus 4. So that's going to be positive 3a, so I'm going to put a plus because it's not the leading term. And this is how I like to combine like terms. I like to use shapes. So I'm going to put a triangle around everything that has a squared. I'm going to put a circle around everything that has a and the sign in front of it, because that goes with it. The sign goes with the term. The sign directly in front. And I'm going to underline, or actually I can use a square. Right? We're doing shapes. You could do underline too. We can mix it up. But I'm going to put a square around all of my constants, or just my numbers. And then I can buy my shapes. So there's only one triangle, a squared. And we've got our negative 4a plus 3a. They're like terms. The math is done to the numbers, the coefficients, the values in front of the letter. Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. So a squared minus 1a, and then 4 minus 6 is negative 2, minus 1, that's negative 3. Again, you can type that in the calculator.
Yes.
Don't have to sit there and do it in your head. That's the fun part. So you can skip the fun part if you want to. I'm not going to skip it. All right, so a squared minus 1a minus 3.
Yes.
Woo. Big fat hairy deal. All right, so 9. We have F and we have G. So
and it looks scary, but this is actually one of the more fun problems.
yeah, because we talked about earlier, every ordered pair is like X and Y. We also talked about if you have Y equals, let's just say 2X, if we do F of X equals 2X, that is function form. And if we were to say F of 2, we all know that that is the function way to say X equals 2. So if I'm looking at the set of F ordered pairs, and I say F is 2, well, that means Y is 0, right? Because I'm plugging in X, my X is 2, so my output is 0. Anything you want to add to that?
No.
You're like, absolutely not. What? I did a good job. That's crazy. I'm just kidding. So when G is 2, or G of 2 is how you would say this, G of 2. They're saying X equals 2 for the G set. So I go to where X equals 2, and the Y value is 1. Now for F of G of 23, you have to work just like order of operations. You have to work inside the parenthesis and then outside. So G of 23, when X is 23, Y is 2. So really G of 23, I could call that 2. So in reality, I'm looking for F of 2.
Yes.
Yeah. So when X is 2 for F, we know that's 0. A tricky way of asking the same question.
Exactly.
And then G of negative 3. So when X is negative 3 in the G set, Y is 2. And our output is 2.
So that's not really a big deal.
No, not a big deal at all. But it looks like a big deal because this looks like gibberish if you don't know what you're looking at. I'm like, huh? I do ACT prep, and they'll see this problem and they'll be like, what? What do they want?
And they'll skip it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they'll use like majority letters. So like, we're just gonna use B for the ones we don't know. That one might be a B, but not if we go over it because it's not as bad as it looks.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So for A, we're gonna find F of negative 3, and we know at this point that is just a fancy way of saying X equals 3. Find the output. So we're gonna write the F of X function because it starts with F. I'm going to do blank squared minus 9 because I'm leaving room in my function to dump in the value of X. Yeah. That's kind of what it is, right? Okay, so pour it in. I guess I could say it in a different way. Okay. I like to think of a dump truck and just, they're working on the road by my house right now. So, so negative 3 squared is 9. And then 9 minus 9 is going to be 0.
Now, the really cool part about this is
anything times
nothing times stuff is nothing.
Right, so I don't care what this is. This
exactly.
Could be,
I don't care what
this
that
could be 24 karat gold. It could be Bruno Mars, which I do love Bruno Mars. Hopefully, it's okay to say his name in videos. But anything times 0 is still 0. So we don't really need to bother to find g of negative 3. 0. We know the answer is 0. Yay! So f of 3, we can use it again. We know it's 0. Okay. Absolutely, no worries. So when we have g of x, that is 3x minus 5. So to find g of negative 1, they're saying x is negative 1. So we're going to take out the x. We're going to plug in negative 1. So 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. Negative 3 minus 5, that is negative 8. So that's going to be 0 plus negative 8, which if we type that in the calculator, or we just kind of know, it is negative 8. 0 plus something is just going to be whatever you had in the first place. Cool beans. I am going to hop over to do part D, and then we'll do part C last. So f of g of 4, we're going to find g of 4. We're going to take our g function. We're going to take x out. We're going to dump the 4 in. And 3 times 4 is 12. 12 minus 5 is 7. So in reality, we're looking for f of 7. So I'm going to write the f function. And I'm going to pour in 7. So 7 squared is 49. 49 minus 9 is 40. Woo. And last but not least, here's the thing. When you see function notation and the x is still intact, it might equivalent to, I'm going to be doing a little extra work on this problem. Okay, because we're actually taking the function f of x and we're multiplying 3 into it. So we're not dumping the 3 in for x. We're taking the entire x squared minus 9 f of x function, and we are distributing 3 into it. So that's going to be 3x squared. 3 times negative 9 is negative 27. We're also going to do that with negative 3. We're going to spread that to g of x. Right, so we're going to do negative 3 and distribute to 3x minus 5. And that is going to be negative 9x plus 15. And if we combine like terms, I like to do my little shapes jazz. That's going to be different because that's x and x squared. Those are two different types of terms. That will just be the numbers we can combine then. That's going to be 3x squared minus 9x minus 12. And then f of negative 4. So we're going to do the f function. We're going to do blank squared minus 9. We're going to dump the 4 in. 4 squared is 16. 16 minus 9 is 7. So we're really looking for g of 7. So we're going to do 3 blank minus 5 for the g function. We're going to pour in the 7. Yay. Okay. Making sure we're good. Techie stuff. And that's going to be 21 minus 5, which is 16. Feel free to use the calculator, guys. You're allowed to have it. Yay. You don't have to have as much fun as I'm having. But you can if you want. All right, last page. Graph the function. So I'm going to graph this on Desmos. It's going to be f of x. Do I have to put the f of x part in?
No. Just type in negative 1/2 x minus 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now, enter. No,
do the home.
No, just hit, yeah.
Okay.
Hit enter. Well.
I clicked off of it,
yeah.
Sorry.
Now,
Got
x equals negative 2.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Now, so what you do is choose 2 points. So that point is a perfect point,